All right. Hey there, everybody. This is Max Morin with Bucketlist Reviews, and I'm here with Paul McKenzie from the Real Mackenzies. How you doing, Paul?
Hello, all you boys and girls out there in Radio Land. We're here on the west coast of Vancouver, British Columbia, about to disembark on another excellent Real Mackenzies tour.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. So where are you going to be heading for this tour?
Who told you?
The info gods of Google in all their magic wisdom.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
Google.
So where's this tour going to be headed through, Paul? You just going through Canada this time, or are you heading down to the States at all?
Well, let's see. We just did a couple of dates on Vancouver Island, and it was really cool. I really enjoy it over there. It's kind of like the clock goes backwards over there. It's kind of archaic and little villages and stuff. Not very much concrete, lots of wood and forests and lakes and stuff. So I really enjoy that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and then,
very salt of the earth, like as the name implies, salt of the earth.
Yeah, either that or, when you go and beat up the trees in the forest, that's the salt of the earth. But anyway, so we're on the mainland now, going to do a show in Vancouver. Then they're going to fly us out to the East Coast. We're going to do Quebec City, Montreal, Toronto, and the outlying areas. Then we come back and jump in the van and go through the Arctic vortex of the mountains and the prairies as far as Winnipeg, and then come back. Then we're into pre-production for our next album, and they're gonna fly us out to Europe. And wait a minute, I think and then we come back, and then in September we go to America.
Oh wow! So you got the next few months all booked up then?
Oh yeah. Sounds
like it. Well, that's really cool. Now, I got to say, I've been looking online. You guys have been doing this for a long time here, since 1992. And it says here that you claim you've had 100 members in this band over the years.
Easily. Over 100 members now.
Yeah. So my question is, anyone new coming out with you this time on tour? Any new members?
I have a brand new lineup now.
Oh, really?
They're all chomping at the bit, and they're all really excited about music. And as soon as they get individuals going like, oh, no, not Europe again, I say, it's time to roll on, man. Well, there was another member that said, no, I don't want to go to China. I don't want to go to India. I don't like.
Why would anyone not want to go to India?
I don't know. I don't know, but our management got wind of that, and they canceled. And I said to the guy, you are out. So over 26 years, of course, you're going to get, and then, it's a volatile business. Some people can't handle it anymore. Some people take for granted the fact that if you want something, you can get something in as much quantity as you want. And that also can be a really negative thing over the years, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And some people want a real job, some people want to start a family, and all sorts of reasons. But our alumni is now over 100 men. Oh yeah, and some of them died.
Very sad. Yeah. So how do you go around picking new guys for this? Though you seem to have done it a lot. Is there a ritual? Do you do anything to summon new Mackenzies into the group?
Yeah. Well, you have to sacrifice a few haggis.
Thought so. You got to set up anything around the pentagram?
To the great Scotch rock goddess. And then you've got to drink a bunch of scotch and use it as a chum, drizzle, if you will. Preferably drizzling it down your gullet. But actually, in reality, Max, they come to me.
Really?
There's a huge lineup just raring to go.
Oh, so you got your roster. You can sort of pick and choose.
No, I don't like that term.
No.
Rock stars are people that think that they're better than their audiences or something, and I don't think that at all.
No, I was saying your roster. You got a roster guy that you can just grab from.
I'm sorry, Max, but I get people calling me a rock star, and I don't like that. But no, the roster, it's just great. And, people say, hey, do you play a good instrument? Do you want to don a kilt and go around the world? Okay. Do you want to record? Okay. No problem.
Sounds awesome. Speaking of recording, you're saying that you got a new album coming out, or that you're recording a new album, rather.
We're starting to work on one right now.
Awesome. Anything you can tell me about that? Let me guess. 20-minute jazz prog epic? You guys are coming out with?
Oh, you're so astute. Well, this record, I want it to be flat. I want it to be black. I want it to be groovy on both sides with a hole in the middle. a lyric sheet, and a cover.
Sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah. And, we've got some pretty good ideas going on there. Let me tell you a story. Once we were playing a show, and I had some eczema on one of my arms. Mm-hmm. And so I was writing set lists on a drum cover, on a bass drum case, and it was black, right?
Yeah.
So I'm writing set lists, and I'm scratching my arm, and I see that there's some skin flakes on the drum case, and I'm also drinking a martini. So I'm drinking the martini, I'm scratching my arm, I'm writing set lists, and in comes Dirty Kurt. Dirty Kurt has now joined another band at this point in time. He's in SNFU now.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, for some reason, he comes and wrings his shirt out into my empty martini glass, which still had the olives and the lemon twist in it. So for some reason, I took a card and made a line out of my skin. And we left and did an interview or something, and I came back, and someone had drunk the sweat martini, and the skin line was gone. So my question is, who did the skin line? Who drank the sweat martini? I really want to know. I really want to know. And that's going to be one of the songs on the next album.
Well, that sounds about as rock and roll as it can get. I wonder if that guy's now, like, possessed by you or something. You did that?
Well, they're running around with my DNA. Mine is Dirty Kurt's DNA. But anyway, we like to write about real-life experiences, and we also like to take Canadian and Scottish stories and folklore and history. Like, we're also going to be doing a song on the Northwest Rebellion with Louis Riel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is not even in Canadian history books. It's not even being taught in school. And it was so close. The only reason Canada isn't a completely different place is because Louis Riel and his militia ran out of bullets. Otherwise, we would have no queen. We would have no parliament. And it might have been, it would have been a completely different place. I don't know if it would be any better or worse, but nonetheless, it does warrant a story and a song.
Oh, totally. And I can't think of a better way to do it than in a kilt with a bunch of bagpipes. They'd love it.
You bet.
Amazing.
And don't forget the socks.
No. Can't. Anyway, speaking of all these stories and stuff, I'd like to talk about the book, if you don't mind, for a little bit.
Okay.
Just for our listeners who don't know, back in 2015, a guy named Chris Walter wrote a book called Under the Kilt, The Real Mackenzies Exposed. Now, I got to ask, was that book your idea, or did they just come to you and say, hey, we want to do a book about the Real Mackenzies?
Well, had it been my idea, it would have been a lot more worthy than to use as toilet paper. In my opinion, what Chris did was I spent a lot of time giving him some really pertinent information, some really good current stories, and what he ended up doing was digging up disgruntled members from 20 years ago and publishing their stories. He didn't ask me to proofread it. He didn't ask me about anything. And so I'm a little bit choked about that. And the last copy I had of that book, I threw it at Chris Walters and it hit him right in the forehead. And I said, and he's bleeding down his nose. I says, too bad he didn't have a case of them, because I would have kept on chucking them. Unfortunately, it's out there. But what it did do is it gave me the idea that if the book is going to be properly written, I have to do it.
So you got any plans to do that, do you think? You got any plans?
I'm too busy right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to wait until I'm hospitalized or something, but I don't think that's going to happen in a while. I'm way too busy. You know, we've got motorbikes, sports cars, sailboats, working on building an aircraft, pre-production, touring, all kinds of things. I've got a wee girl that I have to take care of and go bicycle riding with. I'm teaching her how to parachute. All sorts of things. I'm way too busy. I hardly have time to sleep. But someday when I get old, perhaps I'll sit down and write my memoirs. And,
But not before, like Pete Townsend says, hope I die before I get old.
Well, if you really want to know the story, just buy all the albums and play them all at the same time.
Yeah. I imagine that would sound like a motorcycle going off. You played all of them at the same time. But like a motorcycle with bagpipes.
That would be a good sound.
Yeah, could be. Maybe he'll try that out.
Yeah, my wife and I are great motorcycle aficionados. We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's really cool. So, Paul, I got to ask one weird thing here. It's a bit of a tricky question. I've been
wait a
around...
minute. Mrs. McKenzie, tricky question alert. Okay, go ahead.
Tricky question. I've been looking up around you guys on, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. And I was on Spotify recently, and I saw you guys have a really big following on Spotify as, compared to your YouTube following and stuff. And I wonder if that means that, there's, a younger audience seems to be really getting into all this stuff. Do you tend to notice that? Do you notice, there's a younger crowd coming to see you? Because it seems to have taken off big time.
I notice it on the other end, on the reality end of it. Lots of kids coming out. We play a lot of all ages shows as often as we can. So I'm completely, totally into it. And one thing that I really love about the younger audiences is, as I mentioned before, is that, even though I'm almost 60 years old, I'm not yet jaded. And I still have an effervescent view of the world around me. And I share that with young people. So we have an affinity in that respect. But I don't get Spotify because on my computer I put Spotify remover on it. And let me tell you, I can take a V8 motor apart and put it together in a couple of days. But I'm kind of a Luddite when it comes to computers.
Mm-hmm.
Being an old bastard like me. And I suppose what I could do is if I got the information and actually sat down and applied myself, it would come to be. But I haven't taken the time to do that, so I just push the buttons and go around. But I haven't been on Spotify. But it's great to know that there's a lot of fans out there, and we're not about to stop it anytime soon. It's going to be an album a year, and we'll tour the world, and we'll do that until the aliens take over or something. I don't know.
Album a year and touring the world sounds pretty ambitious, I have to say. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So just keeping on this thing with young people, I'm wondering, you've been doing this since 1992. You've been through all sorts of phases, ups and downs, the whole changing of everything from CDs to digital. What would be your advice to anyone trying to start out in this crazy business? Because there's so many just slugging it out on the road, trying to make it. What would you tell them? Just stick it out? Or?
What I would tell them is it's a crazy business to start with, so you have to really take care of yourself in terms of nutrition and in terms of keeping your mental health together.
Well, everyone knows nutrition's as rock and roll as it gets.
Health is poison.
Mm-hmm.
Junk food is poison, like any fast food on the road. If you really want to get it together, buy yourself a cooler, go to the supermarket, make sure you have lots of fresh fruit, make sure you have lots of good stuff on your rider, and just stay away from the negative stuff and stay positive and only drink good booze.
Yes, that is really true. Does it rot you out inside?
Yeah, well, yeah, if you can, it's a hard life, and it's not everybody can do it. And if you do choose to endeavor in it, you have to make sure that you cover your ass with both hands in terms of nutrition, exercise, and a healthy attitude.
Yeah, so I guess balance is what you're saying, kind of thing? You can live the old rock and roll lifestyle, but if you do it every day. The old rock and roll lifestyle, the old stuff from the 60s and that, or even the 70s and 80s and 90s, it doesn't wash anymore. Especially with stringent borders and stuff like that. You can end your career forever by just making one poor decision at a border. You got to have all your ducks in line, and that way you don't worry and you stay happy. And you have good nutrition, you're healthy, and you got to take care of your nerves, and that's what I say. That's some of the advice that I could say. if you want to keep on doing that for a couple of decades, you have to cover your ass with both hands and take good care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Well, that's really good advice. And like you said, it makes you happy. And that it sounds like is what all the music is. It's happy, feel good, rock and roll.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess it would be pretty hard to make other people feel happy if you weren't, at least somewhat, or weren't healthy, as you say.
Yeah, of course. And also, you know, there's a contingent of individuals that get a little hot-headed and high-headed, thinking that they're better than their audience or something.
Yeah, well, like you said, you hate the term rock star.
You got to remember that without your audience, you're just an idiot on the stage all alone. Mm-hmm. So your audience is really important as well. So taking the time to go out and say hello, meet and greet, hang out at the merch booth, and that, it's really important.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is, like that whole interaction.
This is why we've expanded our fan base, and we don't have a whole lot of money to get behind the Mackenzie machine in terms of publicity and stuff like that. We've done it all on our own. And for the most part, it's personal contact.
Oh, yeah. They always say that the whole rock underground is really just a giant network of friends.
Yeah.
That really seems to be it. Like, you know, one guy
just like
who has
the shampoo commercial. You know,
which one?
The shampoo commercial, they tell two friends and they tell two friends. You ever seen that?
Nah, I'm a youngin'. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I'm dating myself, but that's only because no one else will date me except Mrs. Mackenzie.
Sounds fun. Anyway, we're starting to run out of time here for this interview.
No, Max. We're going to be talking all day. Just relax.
I'd love to.
Are you running out of tape?
I've had people try to sell me tape recorders when I tell them that I'm doing that. I'm like, I don't think those really work for podcasting anymore.
Oh, right. Well, wait a minute. Take this record or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, engrave it yourself.
Well, anyways, if you must wrap it up, Max, it's inevitable. Before we go, though, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to each and everybody out there in the cyber world. And please come to our shows. Check your politics and your egos at the door. Let's have a good, healthy, good time. Listen to some good music and have the party of your life.
Yeah, sounds like most people will. I got one more question before we have to go. This is Bucketlist Music Reviews, so I got to ask, after 25 years, what's still on the Real Mackenzies?
26 years, Max.
26 years.
26 years. Get it right.
26 years. What's still left on the Real Mackenzies bucket list? You still got anything that you want to do? Any shows you want to play? Any things you want to see?
Oh, yeah, we want it all. We want all of it. And let me take you down this road. The well of stories and history in Canadian and Scottish and Celtic culture, the well is so vast and deep. After 26 years, we've only utilized a thimbleful of it. So
it's endless.
There's much more and much more amazing, absolutely fantastic, true stuff. You know, like it's a magical world out there, and if you don't believe in it, you're not going to experience it. So we're in the midst of it, and you know, there's a lot of energy to be tapped, and a lot of positive energy, and a lot of magical energy. So you know, don't close that door because it could work for you, and it's working for us.
Yeah, never close doors in this sort of industry.
Yeah,
always
look what happened.
Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, look what happened to Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember Jim Morrison?
Not personally, no. Don't think I ever met the guy.
He was the lead singer of a band called The Doors.
Oh, yeah. Of course, Freak on Through.
Yeah, he closed his, and he ended up dying. But anyway, moving right along onto a more positive thing. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on the horizon, and personally, I don't think I'm hooked. I'm completely addicted, and I won't stop until they put me in a Zeppelin and send me off to the great Scots cloud in the sky.
Sounds like one hell of a way to go.
Woo! Yeah.
Well, anyway, everybody out there, as you say in cyber world, that's Paul Mackenzie with the Real Mackenzies. Keep an eye out for them. They'll be in Toronto later on this month at the Horseshoe Tavern, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yep, and out in Montreal somewhere. I don't know. I don't live in Montreal.
Yeah, it's this really great club in the middle of Cracktown. So if you come down, make sure you keep a hand on your wallet.
Great advertisement. Sure,
Yeah.
I love it. Be sure to catch you there.
But we're not afraid of stuff like that. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't sound like you're afraid of much.
Right.
Can't
so anyway, thanks for the interview, Max. And are you going to be coming down to the show?
Absolutely. You'll see me there.
When will I see you? In Toronto?
Yeah, in Toronto at the Horseshoe.
Good. I'll buy you a nice pint of stout.
And I'll probably have to buy you something right back.
Excellent. Well, I'm not drinking these days, but maybe I'll take a cup of tea off you.
See what we can work out.
Okay,
anyway,
Matt.
Paul, real nice to talk to you.
Thanks for the interview. Take good care. And my salutations on behalf of myself and the Real Mackenzies to one and all.
To one and all. Thank you.
Okay. Be
Signing
good.
off.
All the best.